Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. Graduation is the time of celebration many look forward to in their lives. Now, as another graduation season approaches, RCMP along with SGI are stressing the importance of having a designated driver.
The biggest challenge was to get the facts correct, and it's a lot more of a challenge than you might think.
An important part of Canadian history was in the spotlight at Fort Walsh during the plaque unveiling ceremony, commemorating the Cypress Hills Massacre of 1873. Now through the end of August is prime season for severe thunderstorm activity on the prairies, with approximately 12 tornadoes reported each year in Saskatchewan. Thanks for joining us here today. This is a busy time of the year for graduations across the province, and you're reminded to have a designated driver as part of your celebration. Graduation is the time of celebration many look forward to in their lives. And along with the ceremonial aspect of the accomplishment are the private parties with friends and family, which often include alcohol or drugs. Now, as another graduation season approaches, RCMP along with SGI are stressing the importance of having a designated driver.
We just want young people especially to be focused on the fact that if you're going to a party where there's going to be alcohol or drugs consumed, it's very important to plan a safe ride home beforehand. Nobody's making good decisions after they've had some drinks or have been doing drugs, and impaired driving is impaired driving. So plan a safe ride home, plan to be the designated driver or plan to have a designated driver, maybe arrange a limo or a party bus for you and your friends, or plan to stay the night. Whatever you do, don't get behind the wheel if you were impaired, and don't get in a vehicle with an impaired driver.
And you're reminded that once you get behind the wheel while under the influence of drugs or alcohol, you're not only putting your life in danger, but that of others as well, with tougher penalties now in place for impaired drivers across Saskatchewan.
The province introduced a 3-day vehicle seizure for anybody who blows between 0.04 and 0.08 blood alcohol level. There's also the zero tolerance age for alcohol and drugs for new drivers or for young drivers was raised from 19 to 21. And ignition interlock consequences were strengthened. More recently, in November, the provincial government introduced legislation for drug-impaired driving to pair with the new incoming laws.
By planning in advance to have a designated driver, you can ensure everyone gets home safely. Frontier Days has been a tradition in Swift Current for 80 years. And as the Swift Current Ag and X celebrates this milestone in 2018, an exciting lineup of entertainment awaits you, including the Frontier Days Parade, CCA Rodeo, Grandstand Entertainment with the James Barker Band and Bobby Wills, and the sights and sounds of the Midway. Frontier Days in Swift Current, June 28th through July 1st. Hats off to 80 years. Fort Walsh is ready to greet tourists for another summer season, with a number of new additions at the site. An important part of Canadian history was in the spotlight at Fort Walsh during the plaque unveiling ceremony, commemorating the Cypress Hills Massacre of 1873. First Nations dignitaries joined Parks Canada and other guests for this historic moment. Brady O'Watch is the chief of the Carry the Kettle First Nation and says this is a crucial step in the reconciliation process.
I came here as a young boy, and I was always told that that wasn't really how it went. So it was just a matter of, okay, well, when is it going to be corrected? So to actually be the chief and to see it actually happen was more or less more of a, it was a very humbling feeling to kind of see that actually happen within my lifetime. Cypress Hills was once our home a while ago, and one of the elders talked about how this is where we once lived here, we prospered here, we lived off the land, we lived with our fellow people, and again, the whole coming of the settlers coming in kind of pushed our people off of our land, off of our home, and relocated us into where we stand now.
According to the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada, this type of designation is only considered for sites of a national significance in our country's overall history. And the Cypress Hills Massacre fits this parameter after years of work between park officials and the First Nations community to help commemorate this site, while respecting the cultural significance of the area.
The biggest challenge was to get the facts correct, and it's a lot more of a challenge than you might think, because the sources, the evidence is really very mixed. And for a long time, we didn't pay a lot of attention to oral history from the Nakota and other people. And more recently, we've begun to do that, and it's helped us to improve our understanding of what happened here. Well, in the spring of 1873, the Nakota came south about 500 kilometers into the Cypress Hills in search of food, because the times were very, very difficult. And while there, about 40 lodges of them, so a significant number, were camped, and they were attacked by a group of wolf hunters from the United States who wrongly accused them of having stolen their horses. The result was quite literally a massacre and tremendous abuse of prisoners who did survive.
Tourists can also learn more about the massacre and the overall history of the area through the newly renovated Visitor Center at Fort Walsh. Originally built in the early 1970s, the displays have now been updated using visual, text, and interactive models discussing the history of the Cypress Hills.
It follows a storyline that goes on a circle, starting in the middle. So it was specifically done that first to set the space. You're setting the stage in the Cypress Hills, because a lot of what happened here happened because we are specifically in the Cypress Hills and people came here before. And then slowly kind of changes the mood to tell the story of the First Peoples and the rising tension and the RCMP and the traders, and it ran. So if you walk through it, the interesting thing about it is that you're going through the different pieces of the story slowly and getting interactively engaged with it.
The Visitor Center at Fort Walsh is open daily during the summer season through Thanksgiving, with various activities and interpretive tours of the fort and surrounding Cypress Hills Massacre site. Frontier Days has been a tradition in Swift Current for 80 years. And as the Swift Current Ag and X celebrates this milestone in 2018, an exciting lineup of entertainment awaits you, including mini chuck wagon and wild pony races, and the FMX motocross show. And dance the night away during 2 exciting cabarets featuring Mitch LaRock and the 454 Band and the Chris Buck Band. Frontier Days in Swift Current, June 28th through July 1st. Hats off to 80 years. Each summer, numerous accidents occur across the country due to lightning strikes. And in this report, we find out how you can protect yourself during active weather. Now through the end of August is prime season for severe thunderstorm activity on the prairies, with approximately 12 tornadoes reported each year in Saskatchewan. And at the heart of the severe weather are lightning strikes, which can pose a great danger to individuals and livestock.
You know, very simply, we always say, when the thunder roars, go indoors. I mean, that's probably a quick and dirty little kind of a ditty that you can remember and think about. And every year in Canada, we see generally about 10 deaths from lightning, 165 on average injuries, people who are hospitalized. And boy, I can tell you, it's not fun being struck by lightning. It can almost be like resetting your computer. It can be memory loss and all kinds of health ailments if you've been struck by lightning.
And when severe weather strikes, you're advised to seek shelter immediately and ride out the storm from a safe location.
If you're outdoors, seek shelter in a sturdy building. If not a good building around, well, maybe a car is a vehicle, a truck. Inside the cab of a truck would be a good place to be. As long as you're not touching any electrical metal. It's all right to talk on a cell phone, but not a landline phone. Stay away from plumbing. If you're near water, head to shore soon. And but it's a matter of taking shelter. And if, my God, if the vehicle's not around or no shelter, well, you don't want to be the highest object in a field. So clearly, stay away from any trees or tall structures that could not attract lightning, but conduct the lightning into the ground. And remember that most people who are killed, and injured by lightning are not hit directly by lightning. It's usually a ground flash. It hits the ground, travels along the ground, and comes up tree roots or plumbing, and then zaps you. Or what we call a side flash. It hits a tree and then bounces or over to you, maybe standing near a tree.
Weather alerts generally are issued early in the day as systems begin to develop. Then Environment Canada will issue watches and warnings for specific areas as the weather system intensifies. Therefore, by keeping your eyes on the sky and being aware of the weather forecast throughout the day, you can enjoy a safe summer season.
It's a very historical show in many, many ways.
Yeah, it's extremely unique.
Looking through here, it's kind of the story of the art in Saskatchewan.
I'm Kim Hoteling. I'm the director and curator with the Art Gallery of Swift Current, and we're very pleased to present the exhibition Art for Sale.
Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.